Well, good afternoon and welcome to our virtual dialogue with the Dean, bringing you more campus and college updates from here at the Purdue College of Pharmacy. Before we start, I just want to remind everyone, if you have any questions throughout this video, please feel free to leave a comment and we'll come back at the end and after the interview and respond to those questions. Well, today we have with us Marvin Richardson. Marv is an alumnus of the Purdue College of Pharmacy, class of 1980. He is the Chief Executive Officer of IA. IA is a leading provider of software-enabled pharmacy fulfillment solutions, and maybe we'll have a chance to talk a little bit about what that means as we go along. But Marv, thanks for joining us today. We look forward to being able to share some of the great work that you and IA are doing.
Well, that's great, Dean Barker. We appreciate very much the opportunity to talk to everybody and fill them in on what we've been doing.
Well, great. Well, let's just start off with a broad question. What is IA and what is the IA vision for community pharmacy?
Sure. So IA is a pharmacy fulfillment solutions company. So we, specialize in providing pharmacy fulfillment solutions, automation solutions, hardware, software solutions for, a broad spectrum of the pharmacy industry, from anyone from a, independent pharmacy that needs maybe semi-automated dispensing equipment to assist them, all the way up to right now we're building the largest mail order facility in North America in Charleston, South Carolina for the VA, Veterans Administration, that will fill 234,000 orders a day. So we play across that spectrum and, work very hard at that. It is important to me as a pharmacist and obviously as a Purdue pharmacist that we are doing things that will enhance the profession of pharmacy. And right now we have a golden opportunity with what's happening with the pandemic to do that. Our goal is to take work, away from dispensing work away from the pharmacy, automate that in semi-automated or completely automated form, so that the pharmacists and their technicians can be patient-facing. They need to be spending time practicing their clinical skills, what they went obviously to Purdue for many years to do, and be able to vaccinate and perform medication therapy management, counsel patients, do the things that are most important for the patient population. And obviously dispensing is not necessarily a function that we need pharmacists to be doing. We need them to be providing clinical services moving forward and having that prominent role in healthcare that we know that they have a seat at the table, essentially. So,
well, it's all very exciting, and it's going to be real exciting to see how this plays out over the next 5 to 10 years, especially post-pandemic. You've been a great supporter of the college, and recently IA donated equipment to the Purdue University Pharmacy. So why did you decide to make that donation?
Well, first of all, it's my alma mater, which is very important to me. We had a conversation very early on about how we could more automate the College of Pharmacy. I think it's really important that students get exposure to pharmacy automation early. The earlier they're exposed to that, the more comfortable they are with the automation. And it's only going to enhance their practice experience when they get out, no matter where they practice, hospital, long-term care, retail, mail, across the spectrum. If they're familiar with that technology, then they're more comfortable, they embrace the technology, it frees them up for clinical practice. So, we were happy to make that donation to the school. We gave both, automated dispensing, semi-automated dispensing for vials, and also pouch packaging technology that, really allow students to see what's coming in the industry. And we believe the School of Pharmacy, the College of Pharmacy there at Purdue, that on-campus pharmacy is the most automated College of Pharmacy practice experience in the country. So very happy to do that and excited the students get exposure to that.
Well, we're very grateful for the gift and the support from IA in that vein. So lastly, where do you see the future of pharmacy and why is automation so important?
I think that when I came into IA and made as both an investor and CEO of the company about a little over a year ago, it was seeing a legacy that I could leave, that Greg Watson, who is, he graduated a School of Pharmacy and business partner of mine, could do to really enhance the practice of pharmacy. So we saw a way for us to be able to remove some of the mundane work of fulfillment and allow pharmacists to be patient facing. We know that's an issue. We know that the lack of time for pharmacists to be patient facing counseling was a real issue back then. Then fast forward through the start of the pandemic, which was nearly a year ago, and all of a sudden it became incredibly critical that we find ways to remove work from the pharmacist's hands so that they could help vaccinate the United States and really pharmacists vaccinate the world. So you're not going to do that, if you don't have the opportunity or the time to be patient facing. So we ramped up very quickly. We didn't see this coming. We weren't sure what the effect the pandemic would have. But because of that, we've been able to really accelerate, our practice and accelerate help to a lot of the leading, chain retail pharmacies around the country in terms of that practice environment. So,
well, it's very exciting, and so again, looking forward to seeing where things go next. Well, as typically is our practice in this format, I give our guest an opportunity to ask me a question. So maybe you've got a question for me.
So what is the most challenging thing you've had to do throughout this pandemic? So you've obviously had many challenges. I've followed you on the news. I've followed you, in various journals and things that you've been doing out at Purdue. But what do you see as your biggest challenge? I guess maybe the biggest challenge during the pandemic and the biggest challenge coming out of the pandemic.
Well, I would say that for us here in the college, our greatest challenge has been ensuring the quality of education that our students continue to get. And first, early in the pandemic, that had to do with the experiential learning piece and in ensuring that we could still place students in high quality learning environments for clinical rotations. And I will say a huge thank you to so many Purdue alums who really stepped up to either continue to provide those environments or to advocate for us within their health system so that we could continue to have our students placed. And very, very pleased that we were able to keep all of our students on track. In fact, a year ago, we were actually able to finish all of the students a month early. And I think that's a testament to the students, but also to the great support we've had from the profession to get our students fulfilled in terms of their clinical requirements. And then as we moved into the fall, this next phase of the pandemic, beginning to maintain the quality of education in the classroom, in our de-densified opportunities that we had in the classroom, but particularly in our skills labs where the hands-on components could occur, and managing the students in the Purdue Pharmacy where that new innovation equipment is, again, because we had to de-densify those spaces and ensure that they were all safe for both our faculty, staff, as well as our students. And so probably the biggest challenge there was a lot of the unknown of not knowing what we didn't know along the way, building the plane in the air, so to speak, as we went along to ensure safety, being adaptable so that as the landscape changed around the pandemic, that we could pivot quickly if we needed to. I think that was a challenge for all of our faculty and staff, and certainly our students. But to the testament of Purdue Pharmacy and the faculty, staff, and students, they've just done a tremendous job over the last 7-8 months as we've moved through the pandemic, maintaining everybody on track and maintaining that excellence of education that Purdue is known for. And I think we've been able to do that. We probably one of the most residential campuses in the country for a university our size. We don't know of any of the Big Ten schools other than perhaps University of Nebraska that comes even close to the amount of residential learning that we've had over the fall and now spring semester. And it's been a learning curve and really will shape our students, I think, significantly for their careers now because of the massive changes in healthcare and what we've learned as a result of this pandemic.
Well, that's great. Well, the one thing that we will do, and this, maybe some of the viewers don't, we have moved and announced a move of our global headquarters to Indianapolis, which is a short drive away from Lafayette. So we will begin, I think, wanting to have a conversation with you about allowing a student into this practice environment in whatever form you think that makes the most sense going forward, to make sure that we give a student or two that exposure as we move forward. So we'll offer that up, and we can make a footnote to get to that here soon, but something we want to do.
Well, we're very grateful for that offer. Purdue is so blessed because so many of our alumni are leaders in the industry, thought leaders like you and others. And as faculty, we need to learn about what's on the forefront. And then we embed those insights that we get from those experiences into our curriculum. And so our students have those opportunities to learn from us as we learn from you. And so if we're going to fulfill our mission of preparing the next generation of leaders in pharmacy, we've got to enable our graduates to embrace the innovations of the future, and being engaged and exposed with companies like IA is going to be real critical to that.
Well, that's great.
Well, Marv, thanks for spending a few minutes with us today. For those who are watching at home, please comment on the video if there are any topics you'd like to see us discuss in the future. We thank you all for watching. See you next month. As always, hail Purdue and boiler up.
Boiler up. Thanks.